Hey everyone, this is Bella. Just adjusting the camera here for us to start. And I just want to show you, I'm drinking some tea. And I'm going to be working on this image with you today. So the colors I'm going to be using, it will be the same colors we have been using for a while now. It's because I want you to learn how to mix, you know that. And this painting, we are going to be able to practice clouds. So clouds are a little scary for some people, and I like to really insist on this topic for us to continue to develop. Okay, so I want to make sure everybody to get to know. Okay, let me make sure everybody is. I'm making my camera to be the one filming. Okay, one sec. All right. All right, so I haven't started yet. So I was just saying, we're going to be using the same brush, okay? And the same types of, the same colors we have been using for a while now. The most important thing is to try, and clouds, just like I said, some people feel, they feel they are a little scary to everybody. So I'm going to ask you guys to mute yourselves because I'm recording the session. So in order to have this good recording, I need you to mute. And then at the end, I get to your questions, okay? That way we can continue, you can watch, and then you can make sure you follow me. So this painting over here, you can tell it's not in the center. Like if you look at the canvas, it's not in the center, it is a little bit up. So I'm going to just find a place for me here where I'm going to have my horizon line, and then with my medium brush, it doesn't need to be a big brush, just like, let's get a small brush just because. With my small brush, I'm going to be making a light blue just because I want to put some marks there. Okay, I hope everybody's doing well. All right, so again, you go to the center and then you go a little bit up, just because you see this image, this part over here is a little bit smaller than the one we have. I'm making a line there for me to start to know where things are going to be. It doesn't need to be a super dark line. It doesn't need to be a super harsh. It's more for you to know where things are, okay? And then I have this little mountain. I'm just putting there, checking out. And you can tell it's passing. So if you go to the center here, it's going to pass the center. So you're going to go and a little bit more to the center. So it will pass the center just like there. And you can go and check a little bit taller too here. Okay? And it doesn't need to be exactly. It's more for you to know where things are. Then we have the beach here. Okay? So the beach is there, but we have some water coming here. So I want you to remember to see. So you see the beach is over here. So it's around here where you are going to have a nice, it's not too much. And you see it's not super how can I say this, exact. It's just like for you to know, okay, I have the beach there now. And then I have the water coming here. And this water, I'm imagining like just around, like I said, it doesn't need to be exact. Okay. So I'm just making like a squiggly line here. It's a very pretty painting. It's funny because it's such a simple, like you don't see a lot of details there. Well, you see it here, but like more over here, it's very subtle. And but it's so beautiful. It's really, really peaceful. And I think it would be so nice for us to practice certain things. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to just wait for you for a minute. I'm gonna get some water for me to put on my brush because I realize I don't have the water here, but I'm gonna get. And then you can do that, and you're just going to be making sure you have that going. So just repeating, you are going to find the center, and then you're gonna go up, make a line, okay? Find, I'm gonna ask you guys to mute yourselves, please, because we are recording. And really do that in order to have a nice record for you to see later. So then once you did your horizon line, what you're going to do, you are going to have your mountain, and you realize the mountain is going to be um, passing the middle of your canvas. So I pass a little bit here. Then I found my beach, which is over here. It's like a nice small. And then over here, I have some water where we're going to put the reflections, okay? And then the beach, the sand here. So make those lines. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be back. One sec. All right, so I found my water here. I'm gonna put it in there just for me to park my brushes. So now I do not want you to think of details yet because we're not there at all. We're just going to be very, very thinking of the background. So I'm gonna get my big brush here. And then with my big brush, I'm going to mix, getting some white and blue, making a nice light blue. You definitely want to make light, but not at the point you cannot see the cloud. You want to make it nice enough, okay, to have that going. So then what I'm going to ask you to do is to work with excess. You don't want to flat like this. You want to like a nice access to your sky here. And the reason I like to do access is because this guy, he works with palette knife, and palette knives, they give a lot of texture. And we are working with brushes, which it's very different, but we can mimic a little bit. So it's nice to just have some texture there. Doesn't need to be much, but it's nice to have some. And the right thing right now is just to cover this guy. Really not working on the other things yet. Once we are pretty much working on the same colors over here, but one thing it would be nice for you to do is to just, instead of like thinking of this color yet, I'm going to ask you to bring very tiny, but it's like kissing a baby, the baby just born of red, to this blue, because you want to like a impression of purple. You want something nice enough to bring to your sky, maybe like around here, but you do not want to put too much. You just want a nice impression. So you see, I'm like bringing some in this area, just like they have over there. Maybe you want a little bit more dramatic. Let's see. Can bring some parts just to be fun. And it's nice it's still wet, because then you kind of like have more colors going in your sky. So I'm gonna leave alone for now. And then I have this area here being the same blue. If you check, the same blue there. And just one more thing. If you feel like, okay, you know what? I kind of like, before we go to the water, maybe you feel like, okay, maybe I'll bring some more areas there where I put some more blue. I'm gonna get a little bit more blue just to make a little darker. And maybe just bringing, oop, I didn't even paint my iPad. All right, so I'm just bringing some more color there. But you see, the excess gives you that texture, and it doesn't feel bad if you um, just bring more color there and feel um, it's it doesn't look weird. Let's say that way. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something there. It doesn't look good. You have this texture, and the texture is fine, especially in a painting like this. This is a very impressionistic type of a painting, so you can do this. And the excess we have been doing helps to bring the texture, and doesn't feel like something is wrong, something is right, because it's not really a line. All right, so I'm going to leave that alone now, and I'm going to come to this area here. So just for you to see, I'm covering the bigger areas always. Always cover the bigger areas, then work on details. Never work on details, because even if you are like, okay, putting some more colors, maybe I want to make a little darker, maybe I want to bring in some um what's the name, purple there. It's okay. Maybe I want to add more, or take it. It's okay. It doesn't look bad once you just doing all the cover areas, because then you can go with the details. Because if you go with the details now, then you get lost because you work on details first and then you don't want to do that. So let's go now to this part here. So right now, if you see the difference, it's a lot of choppy here, and here is really, really straight. So now we can go with the same color, the same blue we've been using. And I'm just gonna go and making just straight lines like this, covering the areas. I don't like to be straight over here, so I'm just gonna go like choppy like that because it's gonna look better. It's nice to maybe not see lines and just make sure you see like a straight line in a way, very smooth and simple in this area. Okay. So you see the difference. Very big difference between this and this. Lines, straight lines, and way more texture there. Okay. I want to clean up my brush. Because I'm going to change colors completely now. I now want you to see this picture like just the basics. We're just going to put the details later, okay? Basics, basics. So the next color we're going to see here, so I'm thinking next big color will be, so I could work on it over here, I could work over here. I think I'm going to work on my beige. So the beige, it will be like the sand color, so like yellow, really tiny, red, more yellow really. And that's that color, sorry. So that color, it's a very, it's like a skin color type. So you want to make it, mine is too yellow. So maybe I'm gonna get more orange here. I put too much yellow. So I would advise you to get much less yellow to make this color. Then you don't need so much white. Yeah, I think it's like getting closer. So I got a little bit of red, but very little of yellow, and then white. So that's like a nice cream vanilla type of a color. So I'm gonna go here and I'm just gonna bring this color Very simple line too. You can bring some other parts. Just be careful to not make it green. And I would even like as a base, I would bring to these areas too. Just as base. I also see this color in this mountain here. And even if we don't see it much, it is behind, like we see the vegetation covering later, but that's okay. So we can leave it alone for now. I actually made too much, but okay. Then I see a nice brownish color. So in my idea, I'm thinking to bring really, really tiny black. Let me just make it experiment here first. Maybe a little bit, nah. So I'm bringing some red and some black together. So let's do that first. Black and red, make it brown. Then bringing some yellow. Mine is getting too green. That's not the color. So I'm gonna wash my brush and start over. Sometimes can happen. Sometimes the pigments, they don't match. And then we have to look. That's a good thing, like to study the colors and mixing because of that. So I'm going to start with red, tiny, tiny, tiny black, because it's a huge color. That's my brown there. So I don't want that. Then I'm going to bring some yellow and see how am I going to get there. It's working a little more now. All right, so now I'm going to get white, and voila, that's the color. And it's interesting because sometimes the order you start, it's important. Because I started with the beige, didn't work. It's funny because it was almost like a green. So I got this color here. And then I do not want much on my brush. I want a very tiny, make sure I do not have much. And I'm going to get even a smaller brush, my medium brush here. And then I'm going to start to bring to my sand here. And it's good because it's still wet, so it's fine. Kind of blends together, it's good. Putting a little water on mine because I didn't make enough. And I do not want to lose this. I'm just gonna go here. Bringing this color. And you see this brown like going inside the water. You see, I'm not even putting details yet. I'm just really working on bringing all the colors to the beach. And don't worry if it's not dark enough. We can work on that later. But you know where things are now. All right, cool. The funny thing was that crazy green, I made it. I don't know if you did, but it's not quite the green. I got like the beige, and then I bought some black, I believe. Let me just see. So I got the beige, got some black. Yeah, that's it. And then somehow it got that crazy green. I didn't even want that time. But you can bring to this area here, which is a good thing. It's funny how things can be, colors can mix like that, and then not, it wasn't even something I was planning. So it's just like a darker color. And because we have the beige a little wet, it's not completely dark. It's just there. You can leave it alone. Okay. Um, so the other thing we could do now, it is to work here. So this color is a very interesting color because it's not an easy color to make. So I wanted to check. It's not like it's not easy. It's just sometimes you can get, some blues don't get there ever. So I'm gonna get some blue here. Then I'm gonna get yellow, making some green. Then I'm gonna start to get some white. And you see, mine is completely green. I do not know if I'm gonna get there, but let's see. So I'm gonna more blue. It is a type of a green. It's a blue and a green together. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but it's because my blue is different than the blue they have there. So I'm gonna try again, get more blue, see if I can get there. Sometimes you have to be mixing a little bit to get to that color. Getting more blue. Hmm. Well, you may have to forgive me to not get that beautiful blue. I shouldn't get this blue today. All right. So let me get a little bit more yellow, see if I can get. Yeah. Let me do one thing here. Let's see if I can get there a little more. So you see, I get a nice light green, but it's teal, that's the color. Hmm. Yeah, I got something kind of like that. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get this color just because the type of a blue. But I'm gonna put it over here. Again, the brush strokes on this one is the most difficult brush stroke is the cloud. Everything else is very simple. Very simple. So I'm just going to make the space completely painted. Okay. Then we're going to be working on this area here too. I want you to see what we have there, which is a green, a real green, which is a light green. So I'm going to clean up my brush again. So I'm going to make a nice light green. Start over. So once you want to make light green, start with the yellow. That's a lesson for sure. If you start with the blue, you're starting dark. So I'm making over here this green. But you can tell, you don't see just green, you see brown, you see dark blues, but the majority is green for sure. So you wanna, I put some white because I wanna make it super light. So you see, super, super, super light. And again, it's very simple because we see from far. You can come over here and dab. You don't need to make anything fancy. Just dab some nice vegetation there. Do not worry about everything else yet. This is not a painting um, you are going to do. You're not supposed to do something like this in a day. It's something you go and you study and you do. But I'm just giving you a demonstration. Then you can study later. You feel like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take time and then I'm going to do this. Because then you know how to get there. So this is a demonstration, okay, guys? So don't feel like if you didn't get there today, continue working on. This is why the recordings are good for you to work on something and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I'm gonna try it again. So I left this part alone because this part over here is gonna be dark. It's got like a really dark blue there. And you can just bring dark blue, but it's so dark. It's not a normal blue. It's not just blue. I would say it is a blue and red together. And you'd be like, red? Yeah. You don't want to put black. You want a blue and red. It's almost like a what's the name? Like super dark purple. You see? So I'm just gonna go here with the same way. I'm dabbing and bringing this beautiful color to my mountain. Oops. All right. Okay, we did a lot. So now I'm gonna show you the beautiful clouds. So leave it alone, everything else for now. Don't worry about it, okay? And I'm just gonna show you how we're gonna get to the clouds. So let me get you a nice white paper here. Maybe, yeah, let me get some white paper. Just gonna show you some. If you watched the class, I have been teaching some, I made some videos, I made some PDFs, like step by step for you to see. So it's all inside the site, which, because clouds, people feel like they have to, how can I say this? They have to have like a way of making them. So I'm just gonna show you something here before we go to the canvas. I want you to think of clouds instead of something like this. I want you to think of clouds on something like, the forms are very, I hope you can see that. So in this case here, you see, they're not fluffy like this. This is more like our cartoon thing. This is more over there. You see like, then just for you to illustrate in your head, okay? So I do not want you to think of that. I want you to think of this. Very, very organic. And we're going to be working on them. Okay. Coming back. Okay. So I'm going to get a brush. My brush, if you have this brush there, is a good idea. You see, this is flat, flat. They're both flat. Like flat, when I say flat, I'm talking about this. But this is a super flat where they're like a square. And this is a little bit curvy. You see, I have other one here. I'm going to show you another one. You see, it's curvy. Those are very good for you to use for clouds. I also have this one. Let me clean better. You see, it's a little curvy, and this one is a little fatter here. Like this is not a. This is more for you to work with the clouds too, but it's like you are going to fluff it out everything, because it's a better brush to do that. So if you have one of those brushes, it's a great thing for you to work on. And I'm going to start to bring with white. Just going to get some white on my brush, and I'm going to bring here, and I'm just going to start to work. You see, like I'm tapping. Tapping. It can even go a little bit round like this. And the white, it's almost like becoming a part of the color is over there, because I am blending. And I almost don't have much on my brush, you see? So I'm working on I'm just checking out. I want to try to not be so exact. And don't worry, you're going to disappear with the white first, because I'm trying to show you something. How can I say this? Right now, I'm just blending colors. I'm not making a lot of colors there. So I'm blending and going a little bit. You can go a little bit round if you feel. And I'm just starting to bring those colors. So I'm working on that, and I'm gonna go again with my white, and I'm gonna make my cloud here. part of it. So if you feel like you want to buy this, this is a, let me see here. It's a round brush. They, a lot of people call like the how they call this, round blender. Okay, so this is a 12. This is a number 2. If you want to have those, this a it's funny. Look, fluffy mop. That's what they call them. But they're great for you to do stuff like that. Okay, so if you don't have them, go get one. And I'm just going here and I'm making this circular movement to start to shape my clouds. And I'm just looking over there and make them. I'm just like around here now. And I'm using very little paint to start to make those clouds. Okay, maybe that one there. It's not so close, but it's there. And this painting is a very good one to make a video because it's gonna take you a while. Like I said, don't feel you have to finish this while I'm painting with you here, okay? You may have to rewind and do it again and look again because it takes a little bit. It's a little bit more work in this one. Just looking over there and trying to mimic them. So I have one here. Now I'm gonna go. And of course, you don't have to do exactly. You can go and change them. But it's sometimes good to have reference because it helps, especially with clouds. You want to have some reference. Because sometimes you don't want it to look so cartoony. It's easy to do. So if you watched my other videos, I hope you did. One thing also for you to do is to realize clouds are not just one, you don't do just in one time. In order to get them right, you are going to make some parts darker than others or lighter than others, which means we are going to start to go with white now and think where the light source is coming from. So you see here is whiter than here. It's because the light is coming this way. So you see this area here. So let me go in with my brush to show you. So you see this is like lighter. This is lighter because the sun is coming from this area. Okay. So that means I'm going to start to make it some parts of my cloud a little lighter. But you don't want to lose what you've done. So you want to bring some. Just check how I'm doing with my hands here. You see, like I'm tapping. And not everywhere. So now the cloud is starting to look like a cloud. And it takes a little bit to start to perfect certain things with clouds, especially. It's a good idea to do, observe more, do other ones. It's very good to do that. And mine sometimes it looks a little fluffy, so I like to correct that. Sometimes it's just like a habit to make super fluffy, and then you go and you adjust because you may feel like, okay, too fluffy, too look like a cartoon now. But that's me being too perfectionist too. Do not worry. If you feel great with yours, go for. All right. So I put some over there, and I'm going to look at more and be like, okay, where more I need white, because not everywhere my cloud is white. Some parts are very blue, almost like a light blue here. And I haven't done anything blue. It's just because I blend so much, it gets closer there, but it's I haven't put any blue there. Okay. So now I'm gonna go again with my white because I feel I still don't have, but maybe you do. So do not worry. If you feel good about yours, don't worry what I'm saying. Again, this guy paints with knives. So ours are going to be a little fluffier because we having a round brush, which is going to make those things happen. But don't worry, okay? We will paint with knives, but not yet. All right. So I'm gonna leave mine alone for now. Maybe just one more thing. One more thing before I go to another place. All right, cool. Um, now once we have in this area, it's a completely different situation. So I like to look at my reflections like I'm painting. So I'm gonna do that way because then I can see much better. So you see such a huge difference. One is fluffier, the other one is kind of like going this way because its reflection is water. So you can use the same brush, and I'm just gonna put them here and going this direction here. I'm just gonna try to have the regular. You don't want to have too much. It's more like for you to show it's something happening in the water. I'm not so worried with the reflections, being honest with you. I'm I was more with the clouds because that's the training you should be having. So we can come back to that. If you feel you want to have more, you can add more. Okay. So we can work on the water now and the mountains. You can go to your small brush, and with your small, tiny, tiny, tiny one brush, let me just get one for me. You can start to bring some beautiful details. So you remember this color? You're going to, this color was a blue and red together. And you can start to bring in some areas there. Like I told you, this is impressionism, so you don't have to be really detail oriented if you don't want to, because it's just to give an impression. That's where the word impressionism comes from. Give impression of things. So I'm just adding some nice colors there. Spend some time on this mountain. I think it's a very pretty mountain for you to do. Very, very pretty. And if you also want to um, add some different greens there, it's a cool idea because it's not just one green. You can tell. You see some, you see some green, but you can add some other greens there. Maybe like a darker one, just in some areas, just to give some depth because it's never one green. Like if you look at trees, if you look at certain things, even if you know they are the same color, once you see light, it's never the same, never the same green. So just pay attention to that. It's a cool thing to do. Like I said, the impressionism here, so you don't need to go crazy on the, it's just a little detail here and there. It's nice to have. All right. Okay. Um, I think it's a very good time for us to work on this water here a little more, just to make sure we have some waves coming. So I already put water there, but you see, like you see some squiggly lines in white. That's going to say, okay, this is the beach. That's where the waves are coming. So it's very squiggly, nothing super. I wish this blue, I wish I had a nice blue, but unfortunately my blue wasn't that nice today. It didn't mix. It has to be what's the name of the blue? The blue I have is cobalt. And then if you have, oh my gosh, what's the name of that blue? I'm gonna come back with that, guys. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly, but it's oh Fitalu, Fitalu, something like that blue. Though that blue can definitely make the teal, but not this one. Cobalt is beautiful for certain things, but not for something like that. And if you feel like, you know what, maybe I want to just a nicer blue there, and you want to make cobalt and make it um, not so green, if you accept that, you can bring some. Maybe I'll bring like some of my blue. Yeah. And right now it's not doing anymore, unfortunately, because my blue is cobalt. Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit because mine is too ugh, yug. All right. So I have it there. Again, if you feel you want to add more reflections over there, you can. You can work over here if you want, like, okay, you know what? Maybe I want to add some more blue to this area because they have some blue. I think it's a good idea. It definitely makes things a little different. I'm just gonna make it nice. Yeah, I think works. So I'm making a nice blue here with white, and I can just bring to this area. Yeah, it has even more blue, but it's up to you how much you want there. It's nice, very pretty. The reason I chose this is I really like how he did it so simply and so amazing. This is a very young painter, Australian, still alive, and he does crazy beautiful stuff, all with the palette knife. Maybe he will use some brush. I'm not sure that I said, but I don't know. Maybe he does. But so I want you to definitely practice your clouds. Just putting a little bit more here. My white, because I don't want to cover the whole thing too much. Okay. Oops. All right. Awesome. So again, you may have a lot of things to work on. You may feel you want to do more colors or less colors, or you want to add stuff. Go for, make sure you do. I apologize for my blue because I wish it was that, but it's okay. You got the idea. Um, and we, oh, to make teal, you light green. So you get blue and yellow together, make a light green, and then it's going to be more blue than yellow, of course, and then you're going to get this to this color. But it's a mix. It's definitely a mix. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have questions, you can ask me anytime. You can do the email or you can send me a message, and I will be happy to answer to you. I would love to see if you know and practice the clouds, because we are going to be doing clouds now and more and more. And clouds, it is practice, guys. You just have to keep going, keep going, keep going, okay? Sometimes you may feel, oh, I don't know, I don't like it, but we're going to be working on more difficult ones. So you want to do that, okay? So I'm going to stop the Zoom. And like I said, if you feel you want to send me questions anytime, okay? Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed. Have a beautiful week. Thank you.